What's happening? What's up? What's going on, Steeler Nation? Let me make sure that you guys are hearing me. Give me 1 second, 1 second. Let me make sure. Hold on. Testing, testing. Okay, yes. You guys can hear me, right? What's happening, guys? What's going on, man? Welcome to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, baby. Y'all see what I have there in the title? Steel City Meltdown. Steelers in chaos. That's just how I feel. You know, I'm being a little funny there, a little facetious. I know. It's just how I feel. And I will be joined by my good brother Kenyon here in a moment, man. So I'm going to just chop it up with y'all for a little bit, kind of read some comments. I don't want to dive into all of the things that me and Kenyon are going to talk about because I want to save and reserve that for Kenyon when he gets on. And we're going to do it like we always do, man. The SteelTable, when myself and Kenyon have a conversation, completely organic, non-scripted. We don't do any pre-production. Me personally, guys, just being somebody who has been in entertainment, if you will, in terms of music, but also just kind of doing this on-screen thing. I think that makes for good television. I think that makes for good experiences. I think that makes for a good broadcast. And that's part of who I am. And that's part of the reason why some of y'all rock with me, because it's just live off the cuff. That's how I like to do it. I don't like to script nothing. I don't like to, go through pre-pro and all of that. Nah, let it be natural. That way you get interactions and reactions and things in real time. Like, you don't even give me the opportunity to say, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or what have you. So yeah, once Kenyon gets on, we haven't talked about anything. We're going to address all of the stuff, man. We're going to talk about the Steelers quarterback situation, of course, how we currently feel about the Steelers, what we think the Steelers are trying to do. Kenyon may or may not give you some, draft intel. Just all of those things, man. And that's what we'll do. So let's see what you guys got going on, man. Let me see who's in here early. Shout outs to my man, Carolina Larry. Appreciate that, man. He said, what's up, Sim? Long time. Hope you and everyone are well. Thank you, man. I hope the same to you. My man, Mark Cunningham in the building. The lovely Lanisha in the building. Make sure, fellas, you take time out to say hello to our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Hello, Lanisha. Good to see you. By the way, guys, you see that little powered by StreamYard up here? This is the format that I like to use when Kenyon and I both are on. It's easy and simple. Right through the URL. It's easy to capture both me and him, so I'm not using OBS. But the reason why you see that label up there is I'm going to tell y'all a secret. I'm using the free version. I'm no longer paying for these type of services. I was one time paying $25 a month doesn't break the bank, but I'm at the point now with why pay unnecessary money, right? Why do that? When, the only thing is it has this watermark. So what? I don't care. I don't do this often enough to where it needs to be non-watermark. So that's why you're seeing that, in case some of you guys are wondering why the screen looks a little bit different. And that's why you don't see my logo up there as far as Terrible Towel Tuesday. But it is what it is. Who else is in here, man? Rajon 39, the stink bomb. He says, can anyone in the chat play quarterback? Who else we got up in here, man? My man CT Pittman in the building. Who else? DCTV is in the building. Who else? Anybody else that I may have missed? Antoine Hill in the building. I believe I already said what's up to Mark, but in case I didn't, Mark, my man Mark is in the building. 55 Porter is in the building. John Perry in the building. Phil in the building. Few Late Nights is in the building. Who else we got up in here, man? Malvo is in the building as well. Jack Bauer, Rel Facts. And we'll leave it like that. So really quick, guys, while I wait for Kenyon to come on, I'm going to throw a question to you guys before we dive into it. I want you guys and gals to give me your feelings right now. How are you feeling about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Whatever that might be, whether that's the moves that they've made in free agency so far, whether that's Mike Tomlin as a head coach, whether that's Omar Khan as the GM, the trade, DK Metcalf as a player, whatever you feel, quarterback situation, whatever you feel, give me some thoughts on what you guys feel really quick, and I will respond to some of that. Again, for you guys that might be coming in, I got my boy Kenyon coming on in a moment, and we're going to get into and dive into the conversation. So please bear with us, guys. Be patient. Kenyon is on the West Coast, so a little bit of a time difference there. So, it's not as easy for him to be available at around 5 p.m. as it is for me to be available at 8 p.m. You know what I mean? So bear with him. He'll be here in a moment. But yeah, give me a couple things. Throw some things at me in the chat, man, until Kenyon comes on. Let me see what y'all got. See, some of you guys are giving congratulations to Relfax. He says, I haven't been able to keep up with the channel lately. I'm going to be expecting in October, so got a lot to do. Man, hold on. Let me see if I still got my, is the round of applause still in here? Let me see if it's still in here. Hold on. When you're using the free version, they don't let you use a lot of stuff. Let me see if they let me use it. Looks like it's in there. Hopefully it's there. You'll have to let me know if you hear that round of applause. Hopefully it's playing. Man, if it's not, I'm just going to say it. Oh, there it is playing again. Round of applause, man, to Rail Facts. That is wonderful. That is wonderful, man. You and yours expecting. That's a wonderful thing, man. And I don't know if this is your first. If it is, I would just say it's going to change your life forever, but in a great, wonderful way, right? It's going to change your life in ways that you never would have imagined, but you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Things like what I'm going through right now with my 11-year-old, man, taking up my fall, my spring, and now this year, my summer, with him playing basketball and being involved with AAU and all of that. I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. But yeah, congratulations to you, my brother. My brother. Who else is in here? C. Brown. What y'all got, man? Malvo says indifferent. Okay. Few Late Night says, I feel like the Steelers should have kept Justin Fields or Najee, not get rid of both of them. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all, man. Listen, I really liked Najee Harris. I really did. I liked him, man. Listen, I know that in today's NFL, things happen. Here's my question, though. I'm curious to know what the Steelers didn't find satisfying in Najee Harris. Let me explain. 4 consecutive seasons rushing for 1,000 yards. And I know some people would argue that 1,000 yards is really not that big a deal in today's NFL, considering the amount of games. But I think it's still a relatively decent deal. It's still productive. Not all backs do it. So you kind of have to acknowledge it, right? But with that being said, you drafted him in the first round. So you would think that, you have some real interest in him, even long term. When you draft people in the first round, you get the option of having a 5th-year option. They did not pick that up again after him being productive and him being available. You can't recall too many times when Najee Harris didn't make a game. Very durable, workhorse, was productive. Now, was he the home run hitter? No, he wasn't. He split carries with Jaylen Warren, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at any NFL offense splitting carries with guys unless you got a Saquon Barkley. That's a home run hitter almost anytime he touches the ball. Home run threat at least. But outside of that, it just makes me wonder, is it that they felt that he was going to ask for too much money? And did they feel like, we'll be able to pick up another running back? Did Jaylen Warren help them decide that, yeah, we don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money. We got this guy undrafted. I don't know. It just makes me wonder, man. It's not like, I don't feel like Najee played himself out of a contract. But I don't know. I guess we'll never know. Let's see. What else do you guys have? Jack Bauer says, I'm disgusted. They fumbled this quarterback situation, but I reserve my judgment for now. I'm with you. You know, if you saw my video, I think was that the one I did last night where I said they fumbled the bag with Justin Fields, but I was largely talking about the quarterback situation. CT Pittman says, I don't know how to feel yet. I know I'll know around training camp once the roster is filled out. That is absolutely fair. DCTV says this offense, regardless of what quarterback we get, is conflicting. Strong run blocking line, 2 wide receivers who demand the ball, 10 targets apiece. That is a very good assessment as well. It could be a very interesting battle amongst wide receivers and personality. I will say this. Maybe I'm naive and just don't know, but I really don't know if DK Metcalf is as much as a diva as people say. I don't really recall DK having the issues that George Pickens has kind of shown in his early career. I know, he could be feisty on the field. Hold on real quick, guys. See real facts right there. I got to yell at my Le'Veon who's behind me in the other part of the basement here, playing Oculus, super loud. I got to remind him, can you quiet down, son? Things like that are going to come your way, brother. And y'all might not be able to hear him anyway because of the way my microphone is, but just in case, got to stay in daddy mode at all times. But yeah, DCTV, I'm with you right there. What else y'all feeling? Let me see. What else? Few Late Night says, I feel like the Steelers. Oh, okay. I already read that one. Oh, yeah. Mark Cunningham. I saw that. And I'm going to save that for when Kenyon comes on and we can get to talking about that. What else? Any other feelings y'all got? Sugar Ray Robinson says, bring back Russ and move on. Get back up and draft the Louisville quarterback. Okay, I'm not familiar with Louisville. I'll put him on my my list because I am going to start watching some quarterbacks now. I think it's only right. Gavin Gardner says, I believe we might draft a quarterback in the first round. Who do you think it will be? I'm going to read what Trey says here. I'm going to put it on the screen. He says, the league doesn't care about durability when it comes to running backs. They care more about a running back's talent. The highest paid running backs in the league are more talented and not as durable. Okay. Very fair assessment. And again, guys, I'm just buying a little bit of time. I see that the viewership has grown. Bear with me for a moment, guys. Tonight is going to be what I call a SteelTable. That's when myself and my good brother Kenyon comes on and we have a conversation about all things Steelers. I'm just giving him some time. He said he would be on a little bit late. And, if by any chance, let's say we give him about 5-10 more minutes. If he can't make it, then I'll move on and start talking about some of these topics. And I'll just, fly the plane solo, if you will, and then bring him on when he's available. So let me see. What else y'all got? Jersey Boy says it's no QBs that are any good for the Steelers' future. So why some fans are upset? So Jersey Boy, let me ask you: are you talking about the possibility of Aaron Rodgers? When you say why are they upset, is that what you're referring to? All right, let me see what else y'all got. Steeler Card says, the way I look at it, Rel, if we're going to have to spend a high draft pick on a wide receiver, so why not get a stud in DK? It's a lot of money, but $30 million won't be much in a couple of years. Okay, so I think Rel Facts or someone is opposed to DK. There it is. He says, maybe I'm alone on this, but I do not like the DK trade at all. Yeah, I'll explain what I said a couple nights ago, Rel Facts. It's kind of the market, right? It's first of all, I never expected the Steelers to do it. I never expected the Pittsburgh Steelers even the Omar Khan Steelers, I never expected that we would, one, draft a premier receiver in the current league. So as far as the receivers who are in the league right now, you got to put DK Metcalf in that top tier category. Did not think we would trade for one of those guys before free agency started. And then we turn around and we sign him to a big contract like that. I, in a million years, would have never expected that. Now I know they're saying that the wide receiver class isn't as deep in 2025, but I still feel like the Steelers could definitely have found a receiver, and they may still draft another receiver. You still got Roman Wilson coming back. You hope you're going to get something out of him. I'm not saying that Roman Wilson was going to be the bona fide number 2, but I'm saying because of all of these variables, I did not expect the Steelers to go out there and do what they did. So I can understand Rel Fax's sentiment there. However, I will say this. It is the market. They decided to do it, and these top-notch receivers are getting paid that type of money. So let me offer you a little bit of my thought process, Rel Fax, where it has my thought process has changed a bit when it comes to money. You guys have heard me say millions of times, if you guys have been following me at least for the last 2 years, well before that, but even if it's only been a year or two, you've heard me say how much, no, I don't want the Steelers to spend that kind of money on XYZ. Y'all have heard me say that religiously. But I'm starting to back off of that a little bit because I'm understanding, man, listen, this is the game that you have to play. These players and positions are going to get paid based off of market value. So it's a pay-to-play league. Sometimes you get lucky and you can find these draft picks and you hit on them. Guys like TJ Watt, which we had to turn around and break the bank on him, which we might have to do it again with TJ, depending on how much they want to pay him at this point in his career. But you see what I'm saying? At some point, you're going to have to spend the money anyway. The complaint last year was we only had one receiver. So the question now was, okay, is George Pickens going to be the lead dog? Is he going to get a second contract? If the answer is no, then, you know, one thing I will say about Tomlin and staff, what they prefer is when they get these receivers, or not even receivers, just when they get these guys, these free agents, they try to find younger guys that they can kind of get off of that, you know, that second contract, if you will. Relatively young, you know, the 24 to 25, 26 to 27-year-old. And DK is in his prime. Yeah, I don't necessarily like the money neither, but, you know, it's the market. What you're going to do? It's the market. So, yeah. But I'm with you, Rel. I'm with you in the sense of understanding why you might feel that way. So I'll say that. Let's see what else we got. I'm gonna spend a few more minutes, and like I said, guys, I'll go ahead and get started. You know, if Kenyon is not available here in a second. Anything else y'all got in the chat really quick before I jump to it? DC TV says DK and GP gonna jump D Ward in Cleveland when they play. I would love that. Big A said he's frustrated. I ain't mad at you, Big A. Give me a little more. Give me a little more, man, if you don't mind. Just give me a few more pieces, a little more substance. Tell me what you're frustrated about, and I'll be happy, man. Absolutely happy to chime in on your thoughts there. CT says, I really don't think Justin had any intention of signing back with the Steelers, especially over $10 million or more. He said he's in a division with Josh Allen. Good luck with that. There you go. So let's talk about that really quick. Let's start right there. So, like I said in the title, Steel City Meltdown, because, you know, us as Steeler fans, and I'm sure those around Pittsburgh in the Steel City, we're all going through it right now, man. It's a lot of chaos right now. We don't know what's going on with this, with that, and I'm going to try to attack as many pieces of that as I can. Let's talk about Justin Fields for a second. First of all, I'm going to give Justin Fields, believe it or not, I'm going to give the kid a round of applause. Y'all let me know if y'all are hearing that, by the way. I don't know if it comes through this software. So the reason why I said I'm going to give him a round of applause, can you be mad at a youngster, a 25, 26-year-old? I think he is still 25 or may have already turned 26. But can you be mad at a guy when you walk in his shoes, you get drafted early in the draft? I mean, they put the X on your back as you being a franchise guy, and now everybody's watching with the biggest eyes, biggest microscope, magnifying glass to see what you're going to be. Are you going to be a bust or are you going to bang, right? Doesn't quite work out in Chicago. The narrative is, he's a bust. Chicago openly decides they're going to go draft the next guy early in a Caleb Williams, and we'll see how that pans out for them. You actually have developed a relationship enough with what's the guy's name, Ryan Poles or something like that. You developed that what did I was about to say? I just lost my train of thought. I was reading something. Somebody said we can hear it. Okay, that's what I was reading. What's up, Sade? Sade, good to see you. You develop a relationship with Ryan Poles, right? You ask that man to send you somewhere. Can we work together and send me somewhere I want to go? The story is Mike Tomlin was big on Justin Fields coming out of college. The reports were that Tomlin said if he was available, regardless of who they needed to pick, they were going to draft him. That actually makes me wonder if they really would have done that, and how could that have possibly changed the quarterback situation? Think about that. Little sidebar. What if that rumor was true? What if he was available in that draft when we picked and they would have taken him? Would that have changed the Steelers' quarterback situation? Now you got a guy in Justin Fields totally different than Ben Roethlisberger, but he's able to sit and learn from a Ben Roethlisberger. And then when it was his time to shine, boom, then maybe he's forced to play in 2019, or do I got my years off? Maybe he was after that. But anyway, he would have had a time or two with right? Or was Ben already gone? I can't remember. Maybe the math ain't mathing. But let's just say, what if the Steelers would have drafted him then, whether Ben was there or not? Would the quarterback situation be any different now going into 2025? Good question. But anyway, you asked to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh reciprocates, bring you there. They bring you in, but then they also already have Russell Wilson, a guy that you looked up to, openly said, I used to model my game after him. Just happened to be a better athlete, bigger, faster. That guy gets hurt, and he's unable to start the season. So now they turn to you. You go out there, don't have the strongest performance in the air, but because of your physical gifts, you're able to take the Steelers to a 4-2 record when nobody expected that at all. A lot of people were down on Justin Fields. I remember a lot of people, some of us right here in this chat, were down on Justin Fields when the Steelers traded for him. Oh, what did they do that for? We're down when you found out that Russell Wilson was hurt and Fields was going to have to play. He goes out there and he finds a way to go 4-2 using his legs primarily, making a couple throws here and there. And then instead of riding with the hot hand, the team and the head coach that you were clamoring to come play for decides that they're still going to go with the original plan and play Russell Wilson over you. It's all fair. Mike Tomlin and many other coaches in the NFL have said, hey, I don't like a guy to lose their job due to injury. Okay, I guess it's a fair point. But there's also a certain thing where sometimes go with the hot hand. But also, I will at least give Mike Tomlin credit for this. Mike Tomlin knew that, listen, I think I could get a little more from Russell Wilson. And in those first 6 or 7 games of Russell Wilson coming in, he was right. He was right. But then I think once the film got out on Russell Wilson and how Arthur Smith was going to utilize him, it was very easy for teams to defend us. And that's what happened. But if you're Justin Fields, you might feel a little slighted. So at your young age, dealing with being an early first-round pick and all that comes with that, dealing with having to play for Pittsburgh and being put back on the bench for not due to your play, you might feel like, you know what, man, I'm going to go cash in. I don't know how long I have in this league. You look around the league, you doing like this, you see how these other backups, some dudes are just backups. They never get that chance. So now there's a team over here that's telling me, no. You're going to be our guy. And by the way, we're going to throw you $10 more million guaranteed. I'm not mad at that. I know that was a long way for me to get to that point, but I can't really be mad at that. Hold on, guys. Talking to Kenyon. Having some internet issues, he mentioned. So either way, guys, hopefully we can get Kenyon on, but if not, we rocking. So there it is, man. That's how I feel about Justin Fields. Again, the reports are that the Steelers had a deal out to him that was also worth $30 million. It was a 2-year deal for $30 million, and I think the guaranteed was $20. And, you know, the Jets offered him a 2-year, $40 million deal with a guarantee of $30 million. So that's just it. If those, those numbers are correct, then that was just it. And again, like I said, hate it or love it, we're just fans at the end of the day. Everybody, all of us wake up every day and do what it is we do. Some of us go to work. Some of us have our own business, self-employed or whatever, but we all are trying to make it better for ourselves and family, right? So you're never going to hear me fault a guy for choosing money over a team or a situation. I'm telling you that right now. I don't care that I'm a Steelers fan on my head, on my chest, behind my back. At the end of the day, I'm a human. So you'll never hear me, mark my words, you will never hear me blame a player and say, oh, man, you should have took less money. Oh, man, you should have gave us the hometown discount. Oh, never. Because them boys are playing in a $1 billion playpen. Go get as much as you can get, young brother. Go get that bread. Sometimes in that case, because I'm a fan, I might see certain players, might hate to see them go, but I'm never blaming them, brother. Go get what you can get. And that's just how it is, man. Let me throw something else at y'all. I got a lot to get off my chest, man. There's a report out there. There's a report out there, and again, you don't know whose reports are real and who are not. I mean, you got guys like Shefty, you got Rappaport, you get some of these guys. Again, y'all know, my favorite website and still a podcast is Steelers Depot. But, a lot of times Depot also gets their news the same way I get news. We get news from reports on these sites, that site, on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it now. But you see reports from a lot of different people, Fowler and, Mark Caboli, people like that, right? So, but sometimes you just see these reports pop up and you don't know if it's real or not. But there's a report out there that says that the Steelers have reached out to Mason Rudolph. Yeah, you heard me correctly. It's not a glitch. I didn't stutter. There's a report saying that the Steelers have reached out to Mason Rudolph for a potential return. How do y'all feel about that? Oh, man, round of applause, man, to Angie, a.k.a. Baby Steeler 4, The Wonder Bread. And hold on, guys. Like I said, I'm not in my normal setup. I'm using StreamYard here. Let me get my round of applause to work. There we go. She says, "Hey Sim, do you think that's too much for DK? Who's for? Do you think that's too much for DK? Who's 14? Wait, I think you're talking about, and I'm gonna clarify, Baby Steeler. Are you talking about how much GP is asking for it? If that is what you're talking about, I didn't actually see what he was asking for. I think I saw somebody post Instagram or something and saying this is how much it's going to cost. He had a number 1 on, but I briefly looked at it while I was working, so I didn't necessarily see a number. But is that kind of like some type of metaphor? Is the 1, does that mean a mil that he's asking for? But if you guys could be so kind to give me that information, how much was he asking for the 14? And then let me see what y'all got to say about Rudolph. Kev So Fun said that's crazy. Knight Rider said, "Oh no." TC Still says the Steelers are a train wreck. Yeah, man, we trending towards that direction. Amon Bozeman says I'm cool with Mason. Lanisha said, I'm gonna say it the way I would imagine Lanisha say this. Lanisha, please correct me if I'm wrong. I would imagine Lanisha would say, that's a no. I'm gonna imagine that's how Lanisha is probably saying that. Eric McDuffie says they reached out to Mason for a backup role. Okay. All right. And now, guys, I told y'all be patient, man. Good brother Kenyon is in the building, man. I'm about to bring him on. So let me get him on. Let's make sure everything is working. So y'all bear with him, man. Having some technical difficulties. So let's bear with him in case mic and stuff doesn't sound the way it should. But what's going on, Kenyon?
Hey, man, I made it. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
That's all that matters. They've been waiting because, as you can see, and I did it this way too, so you can see the comments and all that. Because I know a lot of times I capture this screen and I put it in OBS, but I just did it right here in StreamYard so you can see everything in real time. And as you can see, man, 140 people are watching. Clearly, because they knew it was still table time. They want to hear that conversation. They tired of just listening to me talk. So, man, I don't even know where to start. I'll tell you what I already talked about, and then you can go on to something else. I kind of just ran down the Justin Fields thing again. I kind of just, to sum it up, I was like, look, I'm not mad at him because some people were saying, why did he go there just for another 10 million? And I'm like, look, man, in today's NFL, considering where he was drafted, that didn't work out. Get sent to Chicago, to Pittsburgh. Worked out until he got pulled because there was another guy in pole position. And he probably feels like, look, man, I don't know how much longer I got in this league. He's looking around, especially in Pittsburgh. Let me point that out. He saw, what's the boy, Landry Jones. He saw Mason Rudolph's career. Maybe he's thinking, I don't know how long I got. I don't know how teams are valuing me. I'm going to go get as much money as I can while I'm 26. Secure $30 million. And I was just telling them, I'm not mad, bro. It's $1 billion playpen. I'm not mad at no player, even if it hurts my heart, even if it's a favorite player. You'll never hear me say, oh, man, he should have gave us the hometown discount. Man, he should have took left. Nah. Go get what you can get. And as long as you can get it. I'll be upset, but I'm never going to be mad at a young brother for getting that money, man. So that's kind of what I was talking about. And then, I briefly was talking about the rumors that we're hearing about Mason Rudolph potentially returning. So, yeah, man, if you want to comment on any one of those things before we get into anything else.
As far as Justin Fields goes, I agree. It's just, you got to get the bag while you can. That's probably the biggest payday he'll get like that. And his agent probably wasn't gonna let him settle for anything less. I think from a development standpoint, as far as him getting it better as a quarterback, I think Arthur Smith and him had a good relationship, and they may have wanted to work together. And that was the positive of seeing Justin Fields, that he, wanted to be with the team. He loved the team and all that stuff. And so I'm not really mad at him for that. I understand it. It's business. It's what you do. Somebody offers you something you can't refuse, you take it. And it really depends on how you're cut. Like the competitor in yourself will probably say, I should probably stay with Pittsburgh. They might set me up. I might develop. Arthur Smith might tailor the offense around me. And, we just traded for DK. We got weapons. You know what I'm saying? We can build on this. But the business side of him probably was thinking, let me get this check, get this money. But the Jets aren't going anywhere. And let's be honest, he's only a short-term solution for the Jets now. He's not going to be a franchise quarterback. The Jets aren't a good run organization. So I wish him well, but if it was me, I probably would have stayed with Pittsburgh, tried to work something out, because I would have just seen what I had around me. I would have seen what I had. And in football, unlike other sports, you really have to look at what you got around you. So, I wish him well. Did it hurt? Did it hurt Pittsburgh? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you look at it. This is something that probably should have been addressed years ago, as we've talked about. You and I have talked about it multiple times about, when Ben was there, that you had to kind of like plan for the future. But you lose Fields. I mean, your options are going to be thin. And I just wish him well. I'm actually going to root for him, because I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. I think they
I was just about to say that.
I don't think they do well in the NFL, except for C.J. Stroud. That's the only one. So but I'm rooting for him because I like everything else about him. I like his demeanor. I like that he never really got flustered. I like that some of his flaws kind of improved this season. And part of it is the offense not really opening the offense for him. And that could be part of Mike Tomlin. Not even Arthur Smith. It could be Mike Tomlin, because Tomlin wants to be really conservative, because I don't think he thinks his offense is explosive enough to be able to stack points where he doesn't have to rely on the defense like he does. He has to control the game. That's how he's probably looking at it. So, it sucks, but it is what it is. And I just wish him well. As far as Mason Rudolph, I don't really care. He's not somebody I'm rooting to come back, because whoever they bring in, you have to look at the big picture sometimes. Omar Khan, the whole organization, want a franchise quarterback. They probably looked at this draft, didn't see really a franchise quarterback. Let's be honest, there's one. I know people want to throw other people in there, but there's really only one. And he's in Miami. That's the only one. So next year's draft will have multiple guys. Next year's draft will have probably better options. So if you look at what they're doing, they're setting themselves up to draft a quarterback when the draft will be in Pittsburgh next year, which is even funnier. It's very ironic that what's going on. So, they're probably going to just do that. So, as far as Mason, he's a backup. He's not a starter. And if you're asking me if it's Mason, Russ, or let's just say Aaron Rodgers decides to come, I'm taking those two, because those two might be able to get it done. So, Mason is a backup, and he's always been a backup. I know people liked him because he was in Pittsburgh. It was all good. But if you just watched him, you never said to yourself, "Oh, that guy can lead us and take us far." He never showed you that. So, and he had his shot in Tennessee. So you can't say he didn't have a shot, because he got his shot in Tennessee. So, and that's pretty much all I have to say about Mason. Nice kid, but so that's it.
Man, you said something that I didn't think about, and then we'll comment on Rajan's comment here. Thanks for the Wonder Bread, man. Appreciate it. I didn't think about what Kenyon just said. I'm reconsidering a little bit because if I'm not mistaken, you said that if they brought Russell back and brought Mason back as a backup, was that what you said?
Yeah,
Something to that
yeah,
effect.
yeah. Mason,
Hmm.
yeah, 'cause that would be the way you would do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't hate it if they did that because we need a backup. I hope everybody understands that, man. We are right now, and I forget the kid's first name. Forgive me, but right now I think the Thompson dude is the only
Skylar,
quarterback.
Skylar, Skylar
Yeah,
Thompson.
that is not a good situation. No disrespect to him. I'm just saying there's one quarterback on the roster. We need at least two more, and probably we'll have four in camp.
Yeah,
If you come back with Russell Wilson, which I hate to say it because it's not my choice. Not that I hate Russ, and I don't think I have to keep explaining that. If you guys have been following me, y'all know my point of view here. But I'm taking Russ over Rodgers possibly only
mm,
because Russ at least played there last year. He has chemistry with DK from the past. He has a little chemistry with GP. That's another thing I'm going to throw at Kenyon in a moment because we'll get there. We got a lot. We got a lot to talk to in a short amount of time. But I guess I will ask you now, man, and then we'll tackle Rajon after this. Let me throw this at you because last night y'all heard me say no. Matter of fact, hell no to Aaron Rodgers. But I want to explain myself more here where Kenyon can, combat it or agree. It's only because I don't want us to keep going with the win now mentality. However, like Kenyon often does, and this is the Aries trait, right? A lot of times we come in and offer some rationale, right? Even when it's two Aries talking, the Aries trait is going to show up at some point and say, hey, but hold on. And Kenyon just did that without even realizing it. He said next year they're better candidates. So now that at least puts you in the mindset of what do you do this year? Do you take one of the veterans, bring them back, and see if you can go all in and win? And if not, you reboot next year with better candidates? Now it's plausible. But my only problem with Aaron is I don't think Aaron is coming cheap. And if that's the mentality, knowing that Russell Wilson, 36, will be 37. Matthew Stafford, which I think you would have to trade for him, but that's 37. Kirk Cousins, I think, is 37, 38. Aaron Rodgers,
I don't want
41
bottom 10 Kirk. I don't want
at
bottom
all.
10 Kirk.
At all. So my problem with that is who do you want to pay that much money for a 1 year or so rental? Aaron ain't going to be cheap. I don't believe he will be cheap. Now, caveat. If Aaron Rodgers comes in here somehow and say, man, I've made, because I didn't even know that boy made that much money. I saw it. What he made almost over 400 or something crazy in his career.
Yeah.
If he feeling like, hey man, Coach T always respected you. Look, I'm gonna give y'all a deal. I'm on, this is my last leg, and we can get him cheap. As much as I hate to say it, if the rationale is we're gonna try to see what we can do now. Maybe we keep GP and DK for this final year, but Kenyon is gonna take another position on GP. We'll get there. And you feeling like we just gonna go all in with a veteran, see what we can get done, knowing we got to rebuild anyway. Maybe you sell me on it. This much. But I'm tired of it, man. As much as y'all are tired of Tomlin not winning a playoff game, I'm as tired of seeing us continue to just try to plug and play and stop gap this guy. And we can't keep doing that, man. We just can't. But I get it. If they don't think there's any quarterback in the draft that they could potentially take, okay. But what's your thoughts, man? Tell the people, because I pretty much know where you're going with it. But Aaron Rodgers, like, what would your opinion
Well,
be if they actually sign this dude tomorrow?
well, I mean, I think people overlooked that Aaron Rodgers the last 5 games was actually playing great. I think people don't. They're not really because the Jets were bad. You're just looking at it
Okay.
like that, but he was playing great. So,
Okay.
and what he would offer you as opposed to Russ, since we've seen it, is Russ will not throw over the middle on a consistent basis. He won't let throw. You could say it's a Tomlin product, but it's also a Russ product because he's too
That's a
short.
fact.
Aaron Rodgers will make that throw to Fryer move going across the middle. He'll make that throw. He's making those throws. That stuff to him is easy. That's easy work. So you have to ask yourself this question: the Steelers will never be in a position to get the number, be in a position when they get a top 5 pick by their play. If you understand what I'm saying, they're not
Yeah.
doing that. So if you give me Aaron Rodgers and he gives me a deal, and you give me Aaron Rodgers for 2 years with the second year not guaranteed, and I can move on from him, and I could draft me a quarterback, my franchise quarterback in next year's draft. And the thing people are not really paying attention to, all those people, all the Steelers that have signed free agent deals, grant us compensatory picks for next year. Do you
Oh
know what
yeah.
you do with compensatory picks? You move up in the draft to go get your quarterback in the next year. So you have to think about that. You're gonna get a big compensatory for Dan Moore. You're gonna get a nice compensatory for Justin Fields. You're gonna get a nice compensatory for Najee Harris. You're gonna get a nice compensatory for our guard that just left and went to Miami. So all those players that we lost bring us compensatory picks. And what you do, they're doing what Philly did. You have to think about this. The Philadelphia Eagles did the same thing. They got compensatory picks and they drafted that D line that you see that dominated the Super Bowl because they had multiple picks. So they had them. So it allows you to move, it allows you to help yourself. So for me, if you're asking me on a 1-year track, Aaron Rodgers or Russ, and I know what Russ is going to do. Russ is going to take sacks. Russ is going to not be able to make certain throws that we need, especially with the weapons we got. I know we got chemistry with DK. That's great. Aaron Rodgers can get that same chemistry. The only thing I want from Aaron Rodgers is to be at camp. He can't be out gallivanting around the globe trying to find himself or find some type of whatever he's doing on the offseason. He has to be in camp, be in Steelers camp, and I can roll with that for 1 year. That's how I look at it. That's my stance. That's how I feel. If we have Russ, cool, whatever. But if you ask me to make a choice, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. He's superior. He does superior things at this age. I'm sorry. I've seen enough from Russ.
Oof, man. You make a good point about the middle of the field. That's an excellent point. And understand this, guys, because I know some of y'all will agree or disagree. But for those that disagree with what Kenyon is saying, or even what I might say, but let's just speak to Kenyon's point. We're talking about in a scenario where the Steelers are choosing Russ or Rodgers. That's it. We're not saying who they should take. We're talking about where the Steelers are currently right now. And it's ugly right now. So they're either going to go with one of those two guys or pull off some masterful trade and get one of the younger quarterbacks currently on somebody's roster, or they're going to go into the draft. So we're only talking about Russ versus Rodgers. Kenyon might convince me with that whole middle of the field thing. You were right about that. Which is part of the problem that I had with Russ down the stretch. Like I said last night, man, I think once the film got out on Steeler-led, Russell-led Steelers with Arthur Smith, then teams was like, oh, okay, I see what they – y'all remember on Hard Knocks what homeboy from Baltimore said? Man, that was a bomb analogy. He said, man, he ain't got no – boy ain't got no mid-range. He shoot the three or it's a layup.
Or it's a layup. That's it.
Boy ain't got no mid-range. We take his mid-range game away. What they doing? Ow, and that hurt me, man, watching that. Like, oh, man.
And you can't do that to Aaron. And you can't do that to Aaron. That's the thing. You can't do that. There is no taking away the middle. That's what you have to look at it. People always complain about pass not getting the ball. Why they not throwing it to the tight ends? Why they not going over the middle? Your quarterback will not pull that trigger. So whose fault is that? Is it the quarterback? Because remember, Justin Fields, you can say what you want, but Justin Fields was making more middle of the field throws than Russ was. And they were holding Justin Fields back. So if Aaron Rodgers is gonna just run, the only thing about Aaron is you have to give him control, and that's the problem. It's not the same offense. That's just the factual part about this. It's not the same offense because it's not the Arthur Smith offense that he wants to run. But and Aaron Rodgers will have the ability to audible, which Russ did the same thing. But Russ's audibles, we knew what they were doing. That's why Sim would always text, like, why are we running that? Why are we doing that again? Oh, we know what's coming here. Oh, we know that was constant. I can show you the text. That was a constant thing I got on Sundays. So at least Aaron Rodgers is going to give me the option to throw over the middle of the field, expand the offense a little bit with big targets and speed and all that stuff, and work the middle, make our offense at least a little bit more dangerous for 1 year until you get your next quarterback. So, and I think the Steelers will draft a quarterback in this draft if he's available. There's a kid out of Louisville that I know they like. They brought him in. So, but he's not. We don't know what he is. So that's what I'm saying. So I think the Steelers will put themselves in the position to get a quarterback in the 26th draft because they'll have the capital to do it. But if you're asking me Russ or him, how much is the offense going to get better? Let's have a real conversation. I don't know y'all don't want to admit that. Let's have a real conversation. How much is the offense going to expand if you bring Russ back? What quarterback can you bring in that will expand the offense that's on a bench somewhere that you trade for? Just name one.
Yeah, it's tough. See, and this is why I love the Steelers. I told y'all. See, what I told them before you came on, Kenyon, I was like, what I think makes for good live TV and all that. I was like, we don't do no prep. We don't rehearse. We just talk.
Freestyle.
And I don't know what he gonna say. He don't know what I'm gonna say. And to me, that makes it wonderful. Great points. I mean, again, and I can still feel the way I feel in principle, but even listening to my own point, if it's Russ or Aaron, yeah. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't even know that he finished with the numbers that he finished with. He threw some interceptions, but I think he was 28 in 17, but he threw for over 3,900 yards. I mean, you asking Aaron Rodgers to feed DK, GP if he's there, Muth, Calvin Austin, Washington. Oh yeah, somebody that we've been waiting to get more targets.
I'm just looking at what we got. That's all I'm doing. I'm just looking at what we got. How
much it gonna cost us? Give me that. Your best estimate.
That's all I'm saying. I understand people want this and that. I want this and that, but you have to be realistic now because you've lost the person that they actually wanted, which was Justin Fields. So they lost him. So now you have to regroup and ask yourself the question: what quarterback can you bring in a stop situation or a 1 year situation that can keep you competitive, compete for a Super Bowl, because that's all Pittsburgh wants to do, win you a playoff game, and get you a little bit further. That's all I'm asking. If Russ can do it, and y'all think Russ can do it, cool. I'm just saying, I'm looking at both quarterbacks. Russ, I like him. He's cool. He was a great player at some point. But his deficiencies, they come up in games. A lot. He takes too many sacks. He won't throw over the middle. It's just those things come up big in the AFC North. Aaron Rodgers, you can't do that to him. That D coordinator would not be saying that on Hard Knocks if that was Aaron Rodgers. He would say, yo, we got to protect the whole field because Aaron can attack us long, short, and in the middle. He got a mid-range game. He got a Kobe post up. He got a Jordan fade away. Russ ain't got that.
Yeah. I'm
just keeping it real. That's all I'm doing. I understand people frustrated and all. Hey man, it's cool. And I understand some of y'all. I'm older, so I've been through I know what the grind is. I know what it's like when we sucked. So I know what it's like. I lived that life for multiple years. So I know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? So I know. Look, I still can remember Bubby Brister vividly. Games. I remember those games vividly. I can tell y'all plays. I can tell you the down he messed up. I ain't even get on all that. You get off topic. But I'm just saying. So you have to look at the big picture. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm doing. You just open your mind to what we have. You got to pick and choose. And I don't want bottom 10 Kirk. Kirk Cousins is worse.
Yeah,
That's worse.
I'm cool on Kirk.
So
you kicking the tires on shout outs again, Rajon, and then CT will come right to you after that. You kicking any tires on Joe Milton or Winston? I think Joe Milton could be interested. I don't know if I'll say that real quick before Kenyon answers. Just kind of why I don't know a lot of his game, but I've seen a little bit of him in New England. Could be interesting, man, just because of his physical skills, but I don't know what type of player he is. But if you get him fairly cheap, he looks like he could be a Justin Fields type. He might have more in his bag than that. But Winston, you would think, and Kenyon gonna laugh at this one, you would think I'd be all in support of that being a nose fan. But come on, man. I mean, Jameis ain't moving. He's not moving us further to a playoff win or a Super Bowl. So unless you're just going to say this is going to be one of them seasons where we'll get somebody relatively cheap,
right,
draft one of these kids, maybe draft again next year. But other than that, nah, I'm cool. But what you think?
Nah. I mean, Jameis is he's just the older version of Shadur Sanders.
Ooh, we going there, y'all. In a minute.
That's it. That's all I gotta say about that.
Kenyon said this to me earlier this week. I can't wait for him to talk to y'all about this one.
I did. I think Jameis Winston, when his NFL career is over, is gonna make a lot of money, speaking engagements and as far as motivation and stuff. He's very gifted at doing that. But as a football player, we watched him in Cleveland. Just he can keep you in a game, or he could throw you out of a game. And I don't know if you want to live that life. And as much as we complain, I ask you this question: would you rather be the Pittsburgh Steelers or would you rather be the Cleveland Browns? Next topic.
I might be the Cleveland Browns with Kenny Pickens. Oh man, I don't even know if we got time for that one. That's just funny.
Woo!
I'll just say that it is just the boy gets a ring, man. Wow, what a chain of events! Real quick, CT Pittman says, "Not gonna lie, Rodgers' anticipation throws are still elite." Thank you, TT, for the Wonder Bread. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get out of my own way and out of my own head, and I can't deny a lot of what Kenyon said, man, in theory. Y'all know me. Whoever is going to be the quarterback, I'm rooting for the team. I don't do like a lot of y'all do. And y'all just, you're burning down. No, whoever's the quarterback, I'm going to be rooting for the team. But at some point, I would like us to look towards the future. But I'm not going to sit here and act like Aaron can't still play. Mm-hmm. Scares me a little bit though, because I don't know exactly what he still is, coming off of the Achilles 2 years ago. He's 41. Obviously, he's not the Patrick Mahomes like he used to be, but he still could get it done, man. He could throw the football. So if it ends up being Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to kick him on for a second, just for personal reasons, as far as what I want the Steelers to do. But once he's there, all right, let's see what happens. The next topic, man, before we get to Shadur, me and Kenyon had an interesting, both of us had different opinions on the GP thing. I think we both agree with both of our points. So I'll say my point first, and then I'll let Kenyon share with you guys what we already texted about. This is what I would love to happen. Now, this kind of adds to my point a little bit, Kenyon, if Rodgers comes. So now, assuming it's Aaron Rodgers, because before this, I'm thinking maybe we re-sign Justin or whatever. But now knowing that if Aaron Rodgers ends up being the quarterback, now I absolutely want the Steelers to go all in and
Okay, it's
say,
not a
look,
rebuttal. You have to finish it. It's not a rebuttal anymore because I thought about it. I thought about it. No, I thought about it. I just thought about that last night. And people in the chat just we kind of think alike. So when I'm off, he'll help me out, and when he's off, I'll help him out. But it's like I think I want to keep GP because it just makes you devastating and kind of unguardable, especially you bring in Aaron Rodgers. You bring in Aaron Rodgers, that's an issue for teams because, and I think you keep GP. Now I don't think he's going to get another contract, and you can let GP walk in free agency next year and let him get the bag. You're gonna get a great compensatory pick for it, especially if he has a good year, a great year, which is what he want. And then we can draft a receiver in the 26 draft because it'll be loaded again. So I had to think about it, especially, I had to kind of sit on it and think about it. And I was like, you know what? You might have to keep GP because you keep GP, that's your one, that's your two. DK will be one, GP is the two. Now you have flexibility at wide receiver because you have Calvin Austin, you have Roman Wilson who will develop. So now you have four nice little receivers. You bring back what's 15? You bring back 15 as a blocking receiver, and you can draft receiver if you want to, but I don't think it's a priority in the draft now because you now have your core four, and so I'm rolling with you. I have went over to that side, and you don't have to finish that. We don't have to talk about that because we're on the same page now. We are literally on the same page.
yeah, if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, man, I mean, of course, the theory would be it was an excellent point. And it made me say, if you're not going to re-sign GP, because you got to remember this contract that DK got. So if you're going to let him walk, maybe you keep him. Maybe they found a way to keep him. But if you let him walk, the conversation was, man, we got to get something from him now, some compensation. Perfect sense. But I just was like, oh, man, can you imagine them two dudes on the outside? And with throwing Aaron in the mix? Wow. And then, I don't know if y'all caught Ben Roethlisberger on the McAfee show. Ben said something that we saw a little bit last year. He said, man, every now and then I'll throw one of them boys in the slot.
Yeah.
Guard them down the seam. And now you can really do it. We did it with GP last year when we didn't really have a threat. Mike Williams a little, but imagine now with DK on the outside, move George inside on some scenarios and put Calvin or whoever else on the outside. Bruh, what? And they're going to run most of the time you might catch. This is what I would do. Now I'm getting creative. I line it up to make them show me too high. And then
they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. They have to do it because you can't do that with DK there because DK he eats up any type of coverage you give him. You can't bully him. You can't press DK. He's stronger than you. Actually, this helps George out because now George, if you look at both receivers, George is the one that you can move a lot. DK is the one that can do all the other stuff. And actually, another thing that another Aaron Rodgers factor. This is all Aaron Rodgers scenario. With Aaron, your passing game is way better. You throw better. You can go 4 wides easy. And Arthur Smith don't even like doing that, but you can do that all the time now. And you can have as long as you got a running game. And I know in the chat they said Pittsburgh signed Kenneth Gainwell. So,
oh really?
I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. You okay? We can talk about that. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Just the space, Frymouth, Washington. Look, man, I'm just looking at the big picture. That's all I'm doing. I'm looking at the big picture. I'm trying to get the best team we can with the prospects, players that are available to us. That's all I'm doing. That's all you can do for 25. That's all I'm saying. Man. And I like that.
You move them around, bro. Because like Kenyon said, they're gonna primarily play too high when George and DK is out there. But I would trick them. I'll come out, and once I see that look, then I will motion and bring George inside. Now we know we got the scene. Just run. Run down the seam. Then I might even get cute and run like a little up and out with Moof. Like make him press On the other side, press that seam. Now they don't know, like, oh Lord, like we gotta. You automatically hold the middle linebacker, whatever coverage they in. If it's any type of zone, he like this, because you don't know which way. Do I go this way or go this way? If they bite on George, move right there, or Washington's right there. I mean, it sounds like a simple concept, but it is in a way.
Lovely.
You could even run dagger and run seam on the other side. Like, come on, man.
And
could get ugly.
And who improved the most? CA3 improved. So you put him in a slot.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to tell you, and Roman Wilson is going to be a baller. Watch. He did it at Michigan. He was just hurt. Watch. It's the same CA3 situation. And I think Roman, he runs routes. His routes are great. So when you get him on the field, look, man, the possibilities are lovely. So I just look at it like this is all the Aaron scenario. Because I don't know if Russ is going to throw to as many people like that, like Aaron. Because one thing, he doesn't see the field like Aaron. So that's the one thing Aaron has a Hall of Fame vision, and don't sleep on the age thing is interesting, but look, man, quarterbacks play longer. Tom Brady won Super Bowl at 40. So you gotta look at it like that, man. You can't. Young dudes are nice, but young dudes are usually inexperienced. You know what I mean? So you have to look at it both ways. And I'm with you, Sam. I just want to see it. That's all. I want to see it.
Oh man, I gotta show y'all something real quick, man. This is what I love about StreamYard too, where I can quickly show you something. Look at this, man. The internet never fails, man. Look,
wow.
They got hold on, let me go back to the right screen. Y'all see what it say there? 40 plus years old, torn Achilles, Tiger interested in being a yo, the internet is funny, man. But yeah, again, we're just speaking on the scenario of Aaron Rodgers. That's it. So I don't want anybody who may have came in late, man. I see we up to 166 live viewers. Myself and my good brother Kenyon, man, we're just talking about if the Steelers were to sign Aaron Rodgers, if we're in a situation where it's Wilson or Rodgers, if there's no other plan, why Rodgers might make sense, even though a lot of you guys expressed this to me yesterday. Y'all kind of feel like I did with the age factor. I'm like, man, why we keep doing that? But if the plan is to maybe draft somebody next year, I'm going to play Steeler fan real quick. This is what y'all always do. Maybe the plan is to go get Arch next year, right? Then I get it. But you guys, that's what we always do. The Steeler fans always, oh man, let's tank and go get so and so. Like we can guarantee that we're gonna draft these people. But I guess, man, I guess if they want to have another all-in year.
And what does history tell you? But what does history tell you about tanking? So that's the thing. Always when people say that to me, I'm like, just name me the team that won the Super Bowl that tanked.
That's a fact.
I just want to know. I just want to know the team that did that. I want to know the team that tanked, got their quarterback, and won a Super Bowl. Because let's have a real conversation. Peyton Manning, the Colts tanked for Peyton Manning, correct? They tanked to get Peyton. They got one Super Bowl with Peyton. One. The New England Patriots didn't tank, got Tom Brady in 6th round, and won 6 of them things.
Wow.
The Kansas City Chiefs didn't tank. They had a quarterback there, a starter. They traded up, got Patrick Mahomes, and got 4 of them, right? The Dallas Cowboys tanked for Troy Aikman, and they got 3. Those are your examples. So which way works? I'm just asking. Because the Steelers didn't tank for Ben. So I'm just asking, which strategy works? If you tank, are you guaranteeing me a Super Bowl? If you don't tank and then draft well, which one do you want to win and then try to get to the mountaintop while winning? Or do you want to lose, draft somebody, hope that he works out to get you to where you want to go to? Because look, Jack Tank for Trevor Lawrence. Have they been to the Super Bowl?
Nowhere close.
So these are my examples. So when people talk to me, I'm like, you got to give me examples. It has to even out because you're not giving me that. So I'm just saying, you have to look at it both ways. And I don't want to bring basketball into this, but the Philadelphia 76ers tanked
Oh Lord.
for multiple
Oh.
years to get Joel Embiid. Said, trust the process. How is that working out?
Man, I watched that game the other night. Who we played? We beat somebody. I swear, y'all, I didn't know. There was at one point and I usually know my squads. I didn't know one player in the lineup. I didn't know him. Even Oubre was already out the game. I didn't know any of the top those 5 players who was out there. Only dude I did know was homeboy name from I think he's from Canada or France. He played.
Okay. Yeah.
I forget his name. His last name start with an A. I think Adedile or something.
Yeah, the dude that dunked. It's the guy that dunked on LeBron in the
him
in the Olympics. Yeah,
the only guy I knew, and didn't know anybody else. Nobody else.
That's fun.
Because McCain is hurt. He got hurt early. The key draft pick. Maxey was out. Embiid is out. I mean,
was PG wasn't on the floor? Was PG on the floor?
Absolutely not. I didn't know one player.
That's crazy.
Except for homeboy. I was like,
that's crazy.
Sad, man. I don't even get me started with them. But
yeah, I'm just making. I didn't want to bring, but it's like the obvious team that did that, but it's like trust the process. And the Detroit Lions, if you think about it, they were always at the top of the draft, picking quarterbacks and doing whatever. But when did they really turn? When did Detroit really turn around? When they traded to get a quarterback. They didn't draft him. They traded him to get one. So you have to look at, I'm just saying you got to have perspective in these situations. And I understand, fans, and he a fan type stuff. But, you have to have perspective when we start talking about our team. And, we all hurt. We all can get frustrated. It all can get bad, but it's not as bad as some other teams. And I'm just saying, sometimes you got to look at the big picture. And I'm pretty sure Omar Khan, Tomlin, Rooney, they're probably looking at next year's draft class. If they would have liked somebody from this year, take them. But I will say this. The DK trade has changed my mind on what they would do at 21. I'll say that. A new vision has entered my mind by that trade. Because I had a different perspective going in before this trade. I would have said best player available, wide receiver would have been on the table, D tackle, especially D tackle, because you kind of want to move, I kind of want to move the defensive line around a bit, get Cameron Hayward's replacement and all that stuff. But
yeah,
running back ain't out the question, homie. Running back. I know people don't want to hear that, but
I'm about to say, don't say that. First round.
Hey, look.
But hey,
look, man. Look.
Yeah.
Just saying. And we'll get to wait till we get to the draft talk. Can't wait to those shows. But, yeah.
We're gonna have more of these guys. I promise y'all. So much we had to get into tonight, man. I only got a little more time, but I promise y'all, this is the off season. This is the time to do these. Quick questions here. Want to acknowledge Kev, so fun. Appreciate the Wonder Bread. Also, the infamous Tim, man. Thank y'all for the Wonder Bread. I appreciate that. And he's just making a comment because he knows I like to say, I'm married to the team and dating the players. So he says, I want a wife at QB, but ain't no wives left. I feel you. But let's go back to Kev, so fun. He says, Sim and Kenyon, how you like getting big play slate? I'm not mad at it until I realized, and again, here I go aging people out. Until I realized that Slay is 34. I said, oh man, I ain't know, dang. He been around a long time. Now the question is, I kind of like what Kenyon has been saying for the last year or two. 2025 is going to be Joy Porter Jr. and Corey Trice. Those are going to be 2 outside corners. I like that idea in theory. So it makes me wonder, where does Slay? I keep calling him Clay. Where does Slay fall in that mix? I don't know. So TBD on how I feel about it. I like him. I mean, he's been a great corner. I think he will kind of play the Joe Hayden type of role for us. Little older, but I still think he can play. Maybe we play him in spots. But I'm curious to know. Ask me again once I find out what the Steelers depth chart look like. So if Slay is going to be number 2, opposite JPJ, then I'll give you a better opinion there. But Kenyon informed me, man, I didn't realize that he said that Slay could also play the slot. So again, TBD. Let's see what's going to happen. But I give Kenyon his thoughts.
I mean, I think Slay, as you say, he would be Joe Hayden. He would be a mentor because some people thought Joey kind of he didn't take a step like they wanted him to. Joey Porter ought to clean up a lot of those penalties, but it's the way he's always been. I think that's part of when you drafted him. You had to know that he was like that. He was handsy.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers love Trice, but Trice has to prove he can be healthy. If he can prove he can be healthy, I think if you bring in Slay would start as the other corner with Porter, but I think Trice would have an opportunity to be on the field a lot more. And I don't rule out the Steelers drafting another cornerback, middle rounds, something like that, a slot. You want to get somebody to compete with Benny Bishop unless they do something in free agency. I think they will draft a cornerback. So, I always said that Corey Trice would be a starting corner next year. And I think at some point, if he stays healthy, he could, because he kind of proved himself in a lot of ways in that one game where he was getting torched in the Cincinnati game. But those are learning things. And that was a good thing to go up against the number 1 receiver in the league and to get your back, take your lumps. You got to take them. And he took them. And I was actually excited. It made me more, more bullish on him as a player. I was like, yeah, I know what he can do. So he's going to learn from that. And if he could just stay healthy, they might have got one in Trice. And Sim knows this. I scouted him. I used to send him. We used to send him videos for him to watch. And I used to always tell him, I was like, Trice is the better cover corner between those two. And I like Porter. Trice is the one he can do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's just health. And I just hope he stays healthy. That's it. And if he can't, you bring in 2 corners and you just do that. So I like Slay. You need that veteran. You need that veteran in the locker room. You need that. And I know he's 34, but hey, man, look, if it's a 1 year, 2 year deal, 1 year, it's cool. I'm cool with that. So, but I don't think he's got cut yet. So until he gets cut, I don't know. So.
Yeah, and guys, I saw somebody in the chat said more like Patrick Peterson than Joe Hayden, but I wasn't comparing it in terms of literal age, or I'm just talking about the mentorship. So you could apply that to Hayden or Patrick Peterson. Man, what else did I want to get into before we got out of here, man? We got so much. Shadur. I'm gonna let Kenyon take that part. I'm gonna say a little piece of 2 things real quick. Shadur being the first. Well, let me say this first before I say Shadur. I decided today, real briefly, and mock-ups. I like to watch mock-ups sometimes, but I am gonna go back and watch some real games of some of these quarterbacks just in case. Somebody here mentioned the Louisville quarterback, so I have to look at him. But I watched a game with the name that's being thrown around, Jackson Dart. What I saw in one game, I will say this about him. He seems to be a baller in terms of mentality. He seems to be a tough kid. Accuracy was okay. It looked like he may have had a decent arm, but in the game that I watched, I think I watched the Kentucky game, just the cut-ups of all his throws. It looked a little weak at times, meaning that sometimes it was, trailing behind guys. Middle of the field, he was hitting dudes with the slant pretty good. Had a couple throws where he put it right in the basket, but I didn't see anything. And again, I'm not gonna let that one game, but I can maybe see a little grit in him. So I want to see if that's consistent as I watch more. So I just wanted to throw that out there because some of you guys have been saying, what do you think about Jackson Dart? I haven't watched a lot of film on him, so I just know his name is being thrown around. He just looks like a scrappy type of quarterback. And they use him in the run game. He ain't really got no speed, but they used him, so maybe if Arthur Smith wants to do a little bit of, I'm just assuming, you might could get that from him, but I don't know. I'm not saying I want him. I was just watching. Now, Shadur. I asked Kenyon the question, man, because my thought was, what would I do at 21 if he's sitting there? People are saying he's sliding, falling down the board. It's a couple things. I think Shadur is highly mentored by one Tom Brady. So he has that. I watched a ton of Colorado games for a multitude of reasons, but the main reason, I'm going to be honest and tell y'all why. I rooted for Deion, man, just because, same reason why I root for Lamar Jackson. And some of y'all will understand that. I'm not going to go into depth with that. Those who get it will get it. I just don't like how people are always talking because these people talk and act and look like people that I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? I hate that those people always get, oh, man, he talks to the. Yeah, but let me tell y'all something. Deion might talk a lot, but name another player who was that brash and backed it up better than primetime Deion Sanders. So I know it might make some people uncomfortable. Oh, you talk too much. Dog, I grew up around a bunch of dudes like that. It's culture. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Lamar. But, and that's the reason why I'm always going to root for that because I just hate when we get judged based off of culture. They're doing it to Shadur already. But really, it's his daddy. That's who they're getting at. It ain't really him. It's his daddy. But anyway, let me get back to the real story. Smart kid when he plays. Fairly decent arm, but it's funny because I think I've said this to Kenyon before during the season. His arm fools you, right? Because when he throws the ball, it looks a little lofty, but it gets there. So I'm like, damn, does he have a good arm, or I don't know how he do it. It's like a magic trick. The ball kind of look like it's floating, but it gets there. So decent accuracy. But here's the one thing that I'm not so big on Shadur being a Steeler. Shadur is a statue. He can move, but doesn't move fast, so he ain't got prime speed. He plays like Tom Brady. He plays kind of like his mentor. And some of y'all might say that's a good thing. Yeah, but I think in today's NFL, with D tackles and edge rushers being as good as they are, the best offensive line ain't going to keep them off you all the time. You're going to have to be able to evade and move and maybe scramble out at some point. And Shadur, to me, kind of looked like stuck in the mud a little bit in the pocket. When it's clean, he'll light you up. But I don't know if I want his style of play in Pittsburgh. I'll just say that. I think he's decent. I just don't know. And I hate to say that because I do like Shadur. I like the Sanders family for the most part. I just don't know. I don't know if I see superstar yet. He's a guy that's going to have to prove it. Let me see him play in the league, then let me say, oh, okay, I was wrong about him. But that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if I would kick the tires on that. The second part of that is I don't want all of that attention in Pittsburgh. Because, again, it's all going to be this about Deion. How does he get along with this? And how does him and Mike Tomlin get along? I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that in Pittsburgh. So that's my opinion on it, man. I mean, if they took him, if he fell that far, then I have no choice but to root for it. But if I had my, as some would say, my druthers, nah, I'm cool. I'd rather see him cook somewhere else. I'd rather see him, do well somewhere else. I just don't think it fits It doesn't fit it doesn't fit the Arthur Smith scheme. I think Shadur would have to play the offense that he played at Colorado, spread it out, up tempo, maybe some West Coast. We don't play that. At least Artie don't play that. So that ain't gonna work for us. So that's just my opinion. But I'll give Kenyon the floor.
Yeah, you know, me and Sim talked about this, and with Sim, Sim will always tell me you watch Colorado game or you watch Shadur, you know, and we will always do that. And I'm the same way. I was rooting for Shadur. I'm always going to root for us, especially when us is getting attacked for no reason. I think that Dion, as a player, as Sim said,
oh, your volume went down a little bit. It went down a little bit, like it's a little muffled. Because you was about to get into your bag, so I want to make sure they can hear you. I can still hear you. It just sounds like it lowered a little bit. Oh, man, I can't hear you now. What happened? Hold on, y'all. Bear with him. That's that internet trying to get us, man. Oh, man, Dion put the call in on us. Yeah, I can hear you. It sounds like you far away, though. Yeah, it was fine. And all of a sudden, it went muffled. Hold on, y'all. Be patient. He's coming. He's coming. They said Dion got us. Dion said, yo, take him out. Take him out. They talking about my boy. He did the LeBron on us, man. Dion caught us courtside. Oh, man, that's another topic, too. We'll get in at some point.
My back?
Yeah, you back. I think I can hear you good now. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Like I was saying, but no, Dion, if you can talk like that and get away with it, that's how we grew up. As Tim said, that's how I grew up. I wasn't even around people that didn't talk. Like if I couldn't take it, I shouldn't have been on the court. I shouldn't have been on the field. It is what it is. It's the way you grow up. It's kind of what makes you tough. It's kind of what makes you who you are. You know what I'm saying? And some people are silent. Some people can't take that verbal. I call it verbal armor. You need it. You need it, especially when you go in certain places you grow up. Your Sim grew up. I grew up. It's all the same. It's still the hood. Just to be honest. And so, but Shadur is a person that I like Shadur. I think he's very accurate as a quarterback. I think he does have a lot of Tom Brady in him. But the difference between him and Tom Brady is you're just watching them play. Tom Brady in the pocket, his feet were immaculate. He can move to the right, move to the left, because he knew he couldn't run like that. Shador, he'll try to make a play. He'll try to run backwards. He'll try to, and all that stuff in college, it looks nice. But in the NFL, when you try that, those guys come up the edge of running that 4-5, running that 4-6, and you running the 4-7, 4-8, you're not going to live long like that. So,
it's going back in and out now. It keeps bouncing in and out. Like at some point, it goes really loud where we can hear you crystal clear. Then it goes back down. So I'm just recapping him because I can hear him. I'm going to recap what he said real quick, guys. He said the difference between Tom and Shadur was Tom's feet were immaculate. And Shadur absolutely does what Kenyon just said. Shadur a lot of times tries to make a play, turns his back, runs backwards. And that's the difference. Big difference. You know, Tom and even Peyton Manning kind of developed this too, but Tom was great with that little shiver, you know, step here. And it's times when I used to be like, how in the world are people missing him? Just that quick little shoulder roll. And he stood tall in the pocket and delivered. Shadur does bail. And it could just be a situation of him just, you know, trusting in his athletic ability, being a Sanders, you know. But yeah, that's what Kenyon was saying. So yeah, guys.
He's a Sanders. He's not as athletic. He's not special like that. You know what I mean? His kids didn't inherit. Deion was different. He's a different athlete. He's top tier. He's top 1% of all time athlete. Athletic. The kids don't have that. It's kind of it's like LeBron. LeBron is what be top of the food chain. Ronnie and Bruce don't have that. They're not blessed. So it's the same. Only Jordan kids. There's 1 in 6'2". Like 6'2". You know what I'm saying? It's just different. It's a different guy. So that's it as far as to do. I wouldn't take him. He doesn't fit on offense. I definitely.
Man, I don't know what keep happening. You be clear for a minute and then she disappear on us. But basically, guys, what Kenyon just said was, the Sanders boys, they just don't have that full package that Deion had, man. They're not as athletic or fast. Because even Shallow, if you look at, if I want to critique him a little bit, Shallow ain't got it, man. And that's not a knock, but he don't have it. He's not that boy who just got signed. He ain't no Hufanga. You know what I mean? No. At strong safety. So, or does Shallow play free or strong? I think strong.
He plays strong.
Both. And I'm not saying he sucks, but I'm saying he just nothing special. I mean, Shallow looked like to me maybe a 5th, maybe round pick, something that you might just say, all right, let me kick the tires. But nothing that I've seen from him. Again, I watched a ton of Colorado and Jackson. I never once would you ever have heard me say, man, both of them getting drafted. The both of them that I talked about was Shadur and Travis. It was not Shallow and Shadur. So, sorry, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell, guys, with Shadur. I don't want to say that his name is in the hat because of his dad. No. I think he statistically, and like Kenyon said, the boy is accurate. Even on the deep ball, he can put the ball in places. I think his play has earned him to be one of the top quarterback prospects this year. I just don't know if he's going to be that. I don't know if he's going to be that in the NFL. And hopefully he proves me wrong, man. I mean, I'm rooting for him. But
let me speak on Jackson Dart. You can relate it. I saw Jackson Dart because he was at USC. So he was at USC as a freshman. He started for us. So I know what Jackson Dart basically is. Now
you're super clear. You good?
Okay.
Now.
Okay, I know what Jackson Dart basically is. He's a good quarterback. He will get overdrafted. That's the best way I could put it. He'll get overdrafted because of the quarterback class isn't so great. He'll get overdrafted, and I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I don't think he's a bridge quarterback. I just think he's a good quarterback. As far as the other quarterback prospects into us during the draft, and we start talking about position players and all that stuff. But the other, like I said, to me, there's only one franchise type quarterback in this draft, and that's Cam Ward. And if you watch him play, it's just there. He was at Washington State. I was at the Washington State game at USC, so I saw him in person when he was at Washington State, and I knew then. I was like, oh yeah, that dude right there, yeah, he's the real deal. Kind of like think Malik Willis, except he's accurate. He makes more plays. IQ is off the charts. You know what I'm saying? He's athletic. He's gonna be good. But as far as the other quarterbacks, I know people like certain quarterbacks, but you have to think about system and all that stuff. And Dart is cool. Shadur if you put Shadur in a system, like if Shadur went to Minnesota, and you have that line with Jefferson and all that stuff with that offensive line, he's more like JJ McCarthy that's going to take over in Minnesota. That's the comparison. You know what I mean? That's who he is to me, like JJ McCarthy. That's Shadur to me. You know what I mean? But Shadur would take more risks. He's very accurate, and Simmons right. He's very accurate on the deep ball, but I think the holding on to the ball, his feet in the pocket, all that stuff, he has to grow with. And I do believe he can actually be a good quarterback in the NFL. So put him in the right system. I hope he goes to the right team. Don't put him on a team where they can't help him because he needs help. And as far as the other draft, we'll get into those guys there, but this is not a great draft class. I mean, I know people want to. You don't want to reach. We already did the Kenny Pickett. We're not reaching. So you got to be realistic. So it's kind of like that next year draft is nice. And I know people talking about Arch Manning, but I got somebody else. Arch Manning is nice, but that kid in South Carolina, I take him before I take Arch Manning because that kid in South Carolina, yeah, that dude running the 4.6. He's 6'3", 6'4", 245 pounds. My man looking like, yeah, that's the kid I want. You know what I'm saying? I want him and the receiver that's over there that's 6'6", running the 4.240. Those are the two dudes I want next year. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that for that next year draft. But I'm just saying, we have to be. I know people want to reach for certain quarterbacks, and the Louisville guy, I will bring him in because he is a project and he has elite arm talent. That's the thing about him. He has elite arm talent, but he's 26 years old, I think. So I don't know how you want to, I don't know how you guys want to look at it. So, and another thing you have to factor in is a lot of quarterbacks are going to go back to school, so that affects the draft because of NIL. That's very important that you know that. When you see this kid's coming out, if he's getting paid $1 million, $2 million, he might not come out. He might go back to school. So think about that because he makes more money if he stays in college now. So, it's a cool quarterback class, not great. I wouldn't risk a pick on Jalen. He's a real project. Milroe is a project, but athletically, he's a freak. But he's inaccurate. I don't know if he sees the field the way you should see the field. And as you watch him in games, he has to make certain throws to be effective. He can't do it all the time. He uses that. He kind of relies on the athletic ability. Kind of like people say it's Lamar Jackson, but I'm like, but Lamar in college, he was better. He did stuff better. So, you know what I mean? So, and Lamar has developed, as Sim says, if you watch his progress as a quarterback, his progress is crazy because he's gotten way better than he was, So, yeah. So, this draft class is nice, not great. I like Shadur, but I would not waste a pick at 21 on him. I wouldn't trade up for him. I don't know how far he's going to fall. But this isn't like an Aaron Rodgers situation or, it's not like that. He's good, but he's not what you think he is. But if you put him in the right system, he'll be effective. And we'll get more into it, but that's how I look at Shadur. I like him. Don't think I don't like him. I really like him. I enjoy watching him play. But he has flaws, and they're obvious when you watch him play. So. I don't think I can hear you. I can't hear you. You muted.
My bad. I said, yeah, guys. We'll go ahead and wrap up here in a second. But before we go, I want to throw to Kenyon. Rajan says, "How about Leonard? How you feel about him? Is that the Notre Dame kid?"
Yeah, Riley Leonard. He was at Duke. I was real high on him. I think when he was at Duke. I don't think he's to answer your question, Rajan, he's cool, but I don't see any franchise guys besides Cam Ward. I'm just being honest. I mean, I just don't see anybody where I say to myself, you could build your squad around him and hope to win. Not saying you need a franchise quarterback to win. You don't. You can if you build your team around you got a good quarterback and get things done, you can do it. I don't know if I would trust Riley Leonard to do that. I think he's cool. He would have to show me more. I would just say it's an incomplete on Riley Leonard. I would middle rounds maybe, but the Louisville kid might take before him. The Louisville kid, I think his draft stock has risen because he has unique arm talent. And I think people are always intrigued by unique arm talents. And he can run. I mean, he ran at the combine, he ran a 4.6. I'm just telling you. If you run the 4.6 40, that's mobility. You know what I mean? You can, as Sim always say, Arthur Smith can run RPOs with him. He can run all that stuff with somebody like that. And if you can get him and develop him, I'm with that. But I just think that I would just tell the people in our fans that just in your mind, just say to yourself, let's try to get through this because next year we will be looking for a quarterback. That's just the reality of the situation. It is what it is. And, I guess I would say just have patience. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. That's all I can give you at this point. But no, I wouldn't take a quarterback. No, there's no way. Unless Cam drop. And if I was Pittsburgh, I don't know if I would trade up because they have too many other issues. They have defense, so I wouldn't do that. So you can get a quarterback we don't have a second round pick. So depending on what they do to recoup a pick, or not trade, you can trade. I mean, they can trade down. You trade down, man. You can get your second round pick. You know what I mean? You can get that. So, it's a long way to go, people. We got a long way to go, and I'm just, but I'm excited. I don't know about y'all, but I am kind of excited. I kind of want to see how this plays out.
Yeah, that's all we can do at the end of the day. And again, guys, we give our opinions, and I said it's chaos, but all we can do is watch it and see how it plays out. Yeah, we'll see. I am very interested, man, to see who it ends up being because they might trick us, man. It might not be Rodgers, it might not be Wilson.
I agree.
And then what? Then we looking like, okay, what is the plan now? And I want to emphasize this really quick too, man. You guys hear Kenyon say he feels like there's only one franchise quarterback. I think most of us who kind of say to ourselves, we know a little football. You all have watched college football, and you've said during the game, this dude is a nice college quarterback. And then you've looked at other talent, and you've said to yourself, man, he's going to be a problem in the NFL. That's what he's talking about. Just like today. I watched that one quick game on Jackson Dart, and I was like, okay. All right. But nothing in that one game, it's not fair to judge him on that, but nothing jumped out for me to say, oh. You look like a nice, I'm going to throw a nod to Kenyon and say, it looks like a nice Ohio State type QB. All of them balled out. And only one of them so far has been the man in the league. One. And, that's just what it is. And I think we all can see it when we watching college games. We could I'll tell y'all this. I didn't know what Jalen Hurts was going to be. But I'm going to tell y'all what. I was watching that game when they brought Tua in there. And I said, oh, that boy arm talent. I was like, oh, my. And if y'all remember that championship game and Tua was lighting, I said, oh, he can throw the ball. That looked like NFL, and he was young then, remember? I was like, wow, I see the difference. Even though I was a Hurts fan, I saw the difference in that game. Nick Saban saw it. Yeah. Made the right call. Hey, get Vaughn up in the bullpen.
Yep. If y'all know that reference. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Vaughn ready, dog. Yeah. Got the wild thing in there, and he was lighting it up. They don't be catching them references, man. But that's what Kenyon's saying, man. That's what he's saying.
Right.
You see you can just see it.
That happened in Oklahoma. Remember? Caleb was on the bench. He was a freshman. Remember? Lincoln Riley was like, nah, man. Bring him in the game. As soon as he got in the game, the first time you saw him, you said, oh, that dude right there, he's different. That's a different kid. You know what I'm saying? So look, I love Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts, if you ask me personality and all the other intangibles you need, that's what I would model myself after. I would model myself after him. But as a quarterback, he's a good NFL quarterback. And Philly did what you're supposed to do. They put everything around him. And all Jalen Hurts had to do was, in a lot of ways, was manage the game and make a couple of throws. People were talking like he was killing it. And I'm like, yeah, I remember he threw that pick. He did throw a bad interception in that game. You know what I'm saying? So, but Jalen is what I call, and you know what? Fields has that. That's the one thing I'll give Fields. He does have a little bit of that, a little Jalen Hurts of him. You know what I mean? Like he's just, you know what I mean? He's kind of even keel. I like that. So that's why I like it. But Sim is right. When Tua came in, you were like, yo, they different. And that's why Jalen Hurts transferred. He didn't transfer. He transferred because he knew he wasn't getting the job back.
That's right. Smart.
Just it's just reality.
Shout out to Steel Keys, man. He caught it. The reference.
Oh yeah, Major League.
That's always gonna be one of my. Again, is it an Oscar award winning movie? No, but you know how you have. It's always gonna be one of my favorites because of how I saw it. Right, too young to even be in that movie. It was rated out. Cousins, my older cousins snuck me in there, and I actually saw it in the theater, young. And it's just, I will watch that movie if it came on right now. It's classic.
Hey, man, I got the Blu-ray. You talking to the wrong dude. I got the Blu-ray still, so you talking to the wrong kid. That first Major League, that movie is a classic, man.
Classic, you know what I mean?
Especially when they put Wes outside, when they put Wesley Snipes outside with the bed, man. And they would run in the 40s.
I can't say it on air, man, but my favorite part is when my boy was talking to Joe Booth.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I do it myself.
I do it myself.
Man, classic movie, man. Classic.
Oh man, that's a classic.
All right, guys. Time rolled by really fast, man. I appreciate my brother being able to come in here, man.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, people. Yeah. I'm sorry. It happens, but yeah.
It happens, folks. It's technology. But we're gonna definitely do more of these for sure. Because it's needed. And sometimes I need to be able to just bounce ideas off somebody else instead of just talking. So, and I know y'all enjoy it. So I gotta run, man. Gotta go get the little man ready for bed for school tomorrow. But all I ask again, y'all know the routine, man. Stay safe, stay blessed. This crazy world. I ain't gonna say too much because I don't know who's watching, but the whole news that came out today about a certain area of the government.
Come on, man.
It affected my household, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mine too. Yeah. That's all I gotta say.
It literally affected my household. I don't work for that department, but so it's real out here, man. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, guys, we're gonna sign off.
Everybody hit the like. Hit the like button for him. Show support for the show. He's trying to grow the show. We appreciate all y'all. Hit the like, and we'll be back. Because Sim can't be walking him. Sim in here like Christopher Williams. He talking to himself.
Yeah.
Because there's no one to talk to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
If y'all get that reference.
They ain't gonna get it, man. Sometimes I'd be like, dang, man, I forget some people that be watching the show like 23, 25, right, they ain't got old souls no more. There ain't no such thing as old souls no more.
Kendrick got it, but that's a rarity.
I know my man Mark. I'm sure Mark understands.
Mark knows up.
Yeah. But all right, guys, let me get out of here, man. Catch y'all in the next one. If any breaking news happens, I'll be back and do my little 1-2 videos. It was fun doing that last night and Sunday. So we'll be back soon. Y'all stay safe. Stay blessed. Good night. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Yeah, there we go.